I was 13 years old when this happened. Back then, I lived in a quiet neighborhood where nothing ever seemed to go wrong, the kind of place where days felt slow and nights felt even slower. But near the edge of that neighborhood, there was one place everyone avoided: an abandoned house. It sat there, half hidden behind overgrown trees and broken fencing. The windows were shattered, the paint was peeling, and the front door always looked like it was barely holding on. Adults warned us about it all the time. Don't go near that house. Stay away from it. Nothing good ever happens there. But when you're 13, warnings don't sound like danger. They sound like a challenge. Fear didn't scare us back then. Fear felt exciting. So one evening, just before sunset, me and 3 of my friends decided to do something stupid. We decided to play hide and seek inside that abandoned house. We laughed about it at first, joked around, tried to act brave. None of us wanted to be the first one to admit we were scared. When we reached the house, the air already felt different. Heavy, quiet, like the place was holding its breath. The front door creaked open with almost no effort. That should have been our first sign to leave. Inside, the house smelled old and damp. Dust covered everything. Broken furniture was scattered across the floor. The walls were stained, and parts of the ceiling looked like they could collapse in any moment. There was no wind, no outside noise, just silence. We decided the rules quickly. One person would count, the others would hide. Simple. I ended up being the seeker. I turned to face the wall near the entrance and started counting out loud. 1, 2, 3. My voice echoed softly through the house. By the time I reached 10, the house felt even quieter than before. I turned around and started searching. I checked the living room first, then the kitchen. Every step I took made the floor creak beneath my feet. I kept telling myself it was just an old house, just my friends messing around. Then I heard it. Footsteps. Slow, careful. They weren't running or laughing like my friends usually did. These footsteps sounded deliberate, heavy, like whoever was walking didn't care if they were heard. I smiled nervously, thinking one of my friends was scaring me. But that smile faded fast, because when I peeked into the next room, I saw all 3 of them, together, hiding in the same place. They were staring at me with confused expressions, clearly expecting me to tag one of them. My heart dropped. If they were all there, who was walking behind me? I didn't want to turn around, but at the end of the hallway, I noticed something: an old wooden closet. The door was slightly open. Inside it, I heard something that made my skin crawl. Breathing. Slow. Steady. Close. I stood frozen, trying to convince myself it was my imagination, trying to convince myself it was just the house settling. Then a voice came from inside the closet. Soft, calm, almost playful. "Come find me." My hands started shaking. Every instinct in my body screamed at me to run, but my feet wouldn't move. I slowly stepped closer to the closet. Each step felt heavier than the last. I reached out and pulled the door open. Inside was not my friend. Inside was a grown man. He looked dirty, like he hadn't bathed in weeks. His hair was long and tangled. His eyes were wide open, staring straight at me like he'd been waiting for this moment. He smiled. Not a friendly smile, the kind of smile that doesn't belong on a human face. He leaned forward slightly and said, "So, you found me." That was it. I screamed. I ran faster than I ever had in my life. My friends didn't even ask questions. The moment they saw my face, they ran too. We burst out of the house and didn't stop until we reached the street. When I finally turned around, the front door of the house was closed again,
like nothing had happened. Later that night, our parents called the police. That's when we learned the truth. A man had been living inside that abandoned house for years, hiding, surviving, watching the neighborhood, waiting for kids brave or stupid enough to come inside. He wasn't a ghost. He wasn't a monster. He was real, and that somehow made it worse. That house was boarded up soon after, the windows sealed, the door locked. But even now, years later, I still think about that night, because hide and seek is supposed to be a game. But sometimes, when you're searching in the dark, you're not the only one looking. Sometimes, something is waiting to be found.